Hey guys, it's the History Nerd, and we are back with another exciting episode of Victoria 2 Heart of Darkness. Italy. I almost said Spain there. It's been a long time since I've played Victoria 2 Spain. I don't know why that got stuck in my brain. Anyway, in the last episode, in the comments for the last episode, there were, some suggestions of what we could be doing to further expand our reach. Now, it is tempting to go for Sokoto. Well, they are at war with the UK and Aro. Just to see if we could maybe snag Kano here. I mean, that might be a good idea. See if we could snag that, because I'm not sure what the UK is at war with Sokoto over. British Wari? So where's Wari? Is that... I know what we can do to find it. There. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, this is what the UK is going to war for. However, they're occupying Sokoto like crazy. So I don't understand their strategery going on, but we might want to grab Kano, which is definitely a possibility. Ethiopia? I'm going to leave it in the hands of the mighty German Empire. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. And it looks like Spain went ahead and got North Somaliland. So, they're also an ally. I don't want to step on their toes. Which is what's going on now. And obviously, I could be min-maxing the crap out of this and, going for some land over here and, going kind of nutso with the colonization. But from a roleplay perspective, I want to keep Italy a good friend to Germany and Spain, because I think it's necessary for her survival. What else have we got going on? Austria is now officially allied with the United Kingdom, so again, anything from them might not be all that possible without the assistance of Germany. So we might be able to look at that in a couple of years. I want to let Germany finish up their war with Ethiopia, obviously, before we go too crazy in Central Europe. Other places we could expand, obviously, are along the Baltic coast. I mean, Montenegro, allied with Greece. If we were to declare war on Montenegro and they would only be able to bring Greece in, I'm not really sure. And they're not friendly with any powers. So we could get Montenegro in our sphere via war. That's a potential. And that might be something worth looking into. What do they even make in Montenegro? Grain, fish, and iron. Well, the iron wouldn't be bad. We got, other places, probably not Serbia if they're allied with the Russian Empire, and Bulgaria. Well, now, actually, Bulgaria might not be a bad choice. They're big. They've got a border with another one of our spherelings in Albania, and, they don't have any allies. So that might be a good idea, actually. Let's, because we don't need to acquire states or anything. We could just, we might have a war with Bulgaria here soon. One thing we would need to do before we get anywhere near that, though, is military access. They will not accept. And I'm, triple reading that this time. They're definitely not going to accept it. So we would need, obviously, military access through Albania. We would need a fleet to get our empire. We would need a fleet to get our troops over there. We are kind of lacking when it comes to fleets, but actually what I want to look at is this. 5, so 12. I know for a fact, because we were able to plop down a bunch of submarines, that we should have the ability to build steamers. Now, we would only need 12 of them. Sorry, I should be talking while I'm doing this, I just realized. Come on, where was the 90? 9... 10, 11, 12. There we go. we should only have one rally point for fleets. And we don't necessarily need to add transports to our submarines, so we can move them out of the way. Now, another suggestion that I really like the sound of was this little section here. Tara Uraka? Probably mispronounced, but whatevs. Unfortunately, we're not able to colonize it. Apparently, we don't have a naval base close enough. So, you know, San Pedro Sula or Port-au-Prince apparently aren't close enough. What I think that is just it's landlocked and surrounded. And while Brazil is an ally and in our sphere, it doesn't and Peru, it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be able to plop down a colonist there. So that sucks. And that's pretty much it when it comes to South America, which is too bad because, I mean, with the way our sphere is looking, it wouldn't be a bad idea to try and get involved a bit more heavily in South American politics. But for the meantime, you know, we're not going to be able to colonize in there, which is fine. The other thing, for the glory of Italy, we should try and take on the massive King Empire here. But again, with the lack of fleets, that's my big concern. Our closest fleet is a bunch of clipper transports and 4 frigates. If we run into anything that would be even remotely a large navy, we're not landing troops. We've got nowhere to put them. I guess we could try and base ourselves out of like Luzon here in the Philippines, but I don't know. I'm not feeling the Asian conquest. I realize that it's a good place to go, but I don't necessarily think that we need to be going there. So this, although, you know, Northern New Guinea might be a possibility once we get the technology. We'll see, although we've got other colonies to worry about in Africa before any of that happens. So I think what we're going to want to do is probably the Bulgarian War. I think that's going to be the best bet. So let's go ahead and justify the war. How long is that going to take? It's going to take about 97 days. So we should wait until our fleet is at least all the ships are under production before we start justifying a war against them. I just want to double check that we're able to purchase enough transports here, and we don't get, you know, screwed out of getting over there. So we'll keep our eye on that, hopefully. I don't know, it's me, so I'll probably wind up forgetting about it at some point. Well, yeah, we'll try and keep our eye on it, make sure that we've got enough going on. And, you know, we're working on getting Spain in our sphere, which is good. Looks like we're going up against Belgium. We'll see. We'll see how long that lasts. Spain is allied to us, so that's generally a good thing. And I want to see how this war between the UK and Sokoto work out. Because I don't think... Yeah, they've just got Annex Wari, so we might still have a chance at Sokoto, which is good. Ethiopia, I'm fine leaving that. And I think, honestly, that's pretty much it for empire building, other than spheering other nations. So that's the plan there. Looks like we got some socialists in Puglia? I think it was the G that was silent. I don't know. I should have double-checked the comments before I started recording. It's been a long day at work. I can't necessarily remember how to pronounce everything, but I can try. And this is going to take... Yeah! So now we're getting stalled out. See, if I'd thought this ahead, I wouldn't have purchased or built all those submarines. Although, I guess what we could do is just ship things over in bunches. Let's get military access with Albania. And we're producing coke, not the fun kind or the drinkable kind, the industrial byproduct kind? I think it's an industrial byproduct. I'm going to be honest, I don't know for sure. Taking a stab in the dark on that one. So, yeah, you know, we're getting there with the fleet, although it is going to take a while. Police parade, we will gain the prestige, as always. Dmitry Mendeleev was a Russian chemist and inventor. He is credited as being the creator of the first version of the periodic table of elements. Wonderful. Now, what was I doing for research? It looks like we could probably afford to do some stuff over here, although I gotta say, commerce tech is looking pretty low. Culture's not looking that bad. But, well, I mean, aside from associationism and romanticism, and there's not really much there. Militarily, we could probably work on our military as well. I mean, like, at the moment, we'll go with logistics here. At the moment, we don't necessarily have to worry about having a good up-to-date military. The targets we're going after, pretty soft targets. Oh. Well, what's the reason for this war? Serb liberation of Northern Macedonia. So once that war is finished, and if the Russians get involved, I would imagine it's going to be pretty quick. We might be able to... Oh, maybe not. No, because if that... Yeah. Yeah. There goes my corridor to Bulgaria from my sphere. So now we're looking at doing a full-on naval invasion of Bulgaria. Which doesn't sound all that fun. Why not? Is it just a too many great power allies? So even though you're allied to a friend of ours, it's not going to work. You won't accept military access, and I bet Serbia won't either. No. Okay. So to get Bulgaria, we're going to have to do a full-on naval invasion, which is fine. We can pull that off. We'll definitely want to have all the transport ships we can, though. We will go with work smarter. And just, you know, let things happen. Hopefully, good things happen. What I will do, though, is start increasing the fortifications in my North American colonies. Slowly but surely, they're taken up. So I just got to remember to keep looking back at them and making sure things are going smoothly. I gotta say, the U.S. has definitely been busy in the region, which is not really a surprise. Analytic philosophy, this was originally something. Research plus 5%. Rome, you're a lady. The growth of our colonies has turned Rome into the constantly expanding cultural and economic nave of an empire, and may the memory live long. More prestige, I like it. It's really all that matters. Look at this. That is quite the little colonial fight going on for, quite honestly, a region that's not really worth it. So we'll let the UK and France spend their useless points there. But as we can see, more and more nations are coming into Africa now. And, you know, that's fine. We're nicely set. I'm more than comfortable with the colonial empire we've built. And I think, honestly, Italy's not really in a position to become a massive great power. Come on, guys. We got 2 clerks. That's all we can get. Let's take a look at our budget and try and figure out why that might be. So the clerks are definitely getting a good tax break compared to the poor. The poor should be changing up, but it looks like, you know, most of them are getting their life needs partially fulfilled. So, yeah, they should be doing their best to get themselves into a better position in life. I don't know why they're not. And to be quite honest, though, I mean, we could cut taxes. We don't need to be making £4,000. What is that, a day? Yeah, we don't need to be making £4,000 a day. So let's see what happens if we drop that. Can we drop? Can we drop that to 49? We can, and with 13 million in the bank, I think 200 pounds a day will be fine. So we'll cut everyone's taxes, and that should make people happy. And of course, we're still going to be making money from things like factories, and I don't think we've got any tariffs in place. But if we had tariffs in place, we'd be making money from them and associated things. Really, I wonder if it would be a good idea to change education. I mean, I've left these for decades, and honestly, Italy seems to be doing okay. I don't think we really need to do anything more. Although our literacy rate is pretty freaking low. It should be going up, though. Although our clergy is definitely not optimal. We're working on it, and our clerks are definitely not optimal. I just don't understand why they're not upgrading. Screams can be heard from a workplace in one of our states where socialist agitators have turned an ongoing labor conflict from bad to worse. Local capitalists are appalled at the liberties these revolutionaries allow themselves with regard to how, when, and where they preach their revolutionary ideology, and are considering forming a citizen guard should the situation escalate further. We will not recommend our citizens to form protection rackets or anything to... Yeah, we don't really care. The Red Hydra is not a concern, because they like state capitalism, and then I can fix our freaking economy. Which I've got to say, I understand the appeal of modding, and especially a game like Victoria 2, where the economic model was perhaps... Really? You guys decided for a bakery in Hispaniola? No. Just, no. Close it. Shut it down. No, we don't need a freaking bakery in Hispaniola. You know, it's nice to have a huge diversity of factories and different technologies and, like, you know, late, middle, and early, I don't know why I went backwards, small arms factories and artillery made of different metals and things like that. But the game can't really handle that. The AI in the game wasn't designed to have that many factories in play, and I think the AI really does suffer when it comes to having even more choice for what factories it's going to build and how it would build up an economy. Looks like we're getting pretty close. So once this guy starts, we can start justifying our war against Bulgaria. Which I still think is a good idea to get in our sphere because, I mean, they're not allied with anybody, and I mean, I guess they are a proletarian dictatorship, but whatever. We don't really care about what kind of governments people are using. We just care about getting people in our sphere. And if we take a look at the trade goods, somewhere in here, RGO, well, that won't really help, but we can see, hey, there's got to be a better view of that. Infrastructure? Okay, I guess that works. But we got some tobacco, we got some cotton, we got a lot of grain. I like the tobacco and cotton. That's going to be helpful to have in our trade zone. No idea why I said it like that, but I did. So, deal with it. Add to sphere. There we go. 97 days. We'll have our fleet ready. We can even get it maneuvered into position. I doubt the Bulgarians have much in the way of a fleet, but we can send our third fleet over to check it out. We got military logistics done, which is great. Rebels have risen up in Brazil. I don't think we need to worry about that. We'll do that. Gas attack, gas defense. Those are both going to be very important things, so we should snag those sooner than later. And come on, submarines. We need to do some recon here. And another suggestion was a massive naval buildup, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I'd like the Italian Navy to be, you know, the strength of the Mediterranean. But the thing is, if we take a look at our ability to build ships, we can't do cruisers, we can't do dreadnoughts, and we can't do battleships. So, you know, it's pointless to build monitors or ironclads or commerce raiders. Although I think one of these not the monitor, but I think it's the ironclad or the commissary that becomes a destroyer at some point. Not in-game, but like the stats of it do. I could be totally wrong on that too. I don't know for sure. But I'm going to want to wait until we get the turbine ships before we start going into a massive naval buildup. So let's take a look. We can see that they've got 11 ships, and if we zoom in, they look like they're wooden ships. So in theory, our submarines should be able to take care of them quite nicely. In theory. It's always in theory. Did we really build 13 transports? Alright, well, we didn't need to build 13 transports, but that's okay. We'll take the 3rd Army, who, you know, we're pretty successful in life, or in other wars that we were fighting. We can start expanding all of these, because that would be a good idea. We've got the infamy. I don't think we've got, although I did click through that pretty quickly, I don't think we've got the justification yet. Let's find out. Not yet. It shouldn't be too much longer, though. We're like halfway there. Let's quickly check on Brazil. Not that we can offer much in the way of assistance, but we don't need to. Brazil's got that handedly taken care of. I would just wish that they'd get that colonization going. Really? 13 ships is just too many? Alright, well, chances are, at some point in the future, we're going to need more transport ships than those 12. Why are you taking a supply hit? Naval supplies at 100%. We shouldn't need to worry about getting fabric for a steamer convoy. Maybe coal? That could be what's causing shortage issues. Because I'm really confused as to how those things are dying. Are my submarines taking damage? No, they are fully supplied, and they're able to get their gunpowder coal and replacement convoys. I guess that's only at, what, 66%? So I'm guessing that's, well, 50%. That should be enough to keep ships from rusting in port days after they were built. Colombia gave us no reason. Yeah, that's... I'm almost thinking Colombia's not even worth it, to be honest with you. I mean, it is, but we're not in a good position to make it work sphere-wise in Colombia. So that's just my only concern. Are we done dying? I know you're having issues. But, I mean, it can't be a money issue. It's just got to be a supply issue. Fine, whatever. We're going to need to start this war sooner than later, so let's add to Sphere. Would any of our allies like to join in? Not that they need to, but everybody... Okay, so Brazil and Germany would. Spain's not very likely to. The reason why I'm checking that is just for my own information. Should have checked that out before we went to war, but I'm not going to risk taking a prestige hit. We'll drop them into the Sea of Marma. Oh. No. Give me the fleet. We'll drop them into the Sea of Marma and just see if this fleet comes out. If it doesn't, great. It looks like they're splitting it up probably between combat ships and non-combat ships, but either way, I don't think that their antiquated naval fleet will be able to take on 10 submarine groups, squadrons, flotillas, whatever the unit of measure is. Yeah, they're not going to be attacking, so we should be free to take our troops and just land them in. We'll, actually, no, let's land them in Burgos. Take the port, send their fleet out, sink it with submarines, and then we can send the transports back so they don't get in the fight to pick up some more units. So was it the 4th? It was. Head on down into Catania, and we'll see if we can't grab some more men for this campaign. But I think one stack should be able to take on whatever the Bulgarians can throw at us. And of course we want to, keep some forces around to take care of any rebellions that pop up. We don't need a repeat of the Jacobin Revolution that really screwed us over in the, 1850s? Sometime around there. Whoa. Okay, no, that's just rebels. That's fine. Looks like you're heading it to Schumann. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. So what did they have when it comes to ships? It looks like man of wars and clipper transports. So our submarines should make quick work of all of those. Boxer atrocities in the Qing Empire, a group of Chinese nationalists known as the Boxers, intent on driving all Western influence out of the Qing Empire, have attacked a group of Italian citizens. Several were slain while others were forced to flee for their lives. Worse, the Qing government has done nothing about it. They are looking the other way while these atrocities are being committed upon our people. It can't be tolerated. The game really wants me to go to war with the Chinese. I'm not feeling it. Really, you want to make a stand here? I mean, I guess you're going to have to fight me anyway, but props to your bravery, Bulgaria. Well, it looks like liberal support is waning. People have forgotten about the conservative scandals that plagued the nation a few years ago. Italian reactionaries now. But we took care of the capitalists, or the anarcho-liberals, or whoever it was that rose up. I don't think it was capitalists. So, we won! Excellent. Did we lose any ships? Not a single one. And it looks like they had some survivors. I don't know where they'll be heading. Potentially to the last port. Yep. So we'll just sink them again. Which is, it's fine, and it's not like the Bulgarian Navy is any much of a threat, but our submarines, well, they are taking damage. But they should be getting some experience out of the deal, too. Battle of Treviso, those are all rebellions, doing just fine. And yeah, those ships should. With the arrival of the Italian colonial governor into Neshing, an effort has begun to incorporate Italian Kasai into the larger Free Congo State colony. That's an excellent development. Battle of Venice, we're winning. I just hope this submarine doesn't wind up sinking. That's all I care about. Any losses? None. Beautiful. Let's slide on into port since there's no one else to blockade. We can just slowly march into their capital. Oh, they've got some rebellions popping up. We'll be nice overlords and we'll help them out with that. Really? Are you? Oh, you're a pup. You've got Albania as a puppet, of course. With the arrival of the Italian governor into Nwangwe, an effort has begun to incorporate Italian Kivu into the larger Free Congo state. Perfect. Congo is going to be a pretty large state, I must say. We'll go kill some rebels, get the Third Army even more support. Well, you know what? We'll accept that. And because you are in our sphere, good friends. I use the friends term in air quotes. Well, not maybe in air quotes, but with air quotes. We'll take care of the rebellion problems because they're our people now. Well, maybe not our people, but kind of. Let's go ahead and get a steam turbine going because that will help with the dreadnoughts we want to build. And it's, 1860. It's pretty outdated. Apparently we're not able to do that. So let's form an alliance. Why not? Insufficient relations. They're in my sphere. there's one thing that really bugs me about the geopolitical situation. Okay, let's go to Varna. Oh, you can't go to Varna. Well, let's get our submarines home so they can get themselves repaired quickly. I think we'll base the submarines out of Naples. Although, really, the best place might be Palermo. Hooked on phonics. If you get that reference, you're old. And what we'll do is we'll just get the Third Army home and potentially leave the episode there. I mean, we've got a new Sphereling, which is a good enough advancement. We certainly haven't... Not a lot of time's gone by. That's kind of one of the things that appeals to me about Victoria as a Paradox game. Well, the time frame is only 100 years. There's still a lot that happens. News reaches us from Macron that the local ruling elites have thrown our ambassador out of the country and that their troops are laying siege to our embassy with apparent intent to enforce that decision. This affair is developing into an enormous loss of international face, one which can only be avoided through a formal declaration of war. By Jingo, we'll do it. Because they're right here, they're tiny, and we got a fleet and an army ready and waiting for quick deployment. So we'll drop these guys in. A so-called friendly society has been established in one of our provinces. The friendly society is a loose association of people, often working in the same or similar trades as each other, dedicated to providing members with mutual economic assistance in the forms of unemployment insurance, loans, and cooperative banking. The Federal Society claims, or the Friendly Society claims that it isn't a trade union, but rather a cooperative or a bank. But some hawks within the cabinet fear that the organization is merely a front for socialist union activities and should be shut down. Let them continue to exist. We'll take the middle of the road approach there. Oh, well, you want to get involved in Bulgaria, do you, Russia? Do you really? We will increase relations with them then. That's not at all what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do. If we take a look at our priorities, we can probably go to somebody like Peru. And decrease opinion of the United States. We could go to places like Uruguay and decrease opinion of the United States. There might be a trend going on in American geopolitical dealings when it comes to what Italy's doing. I'm really worried that this Republican Guard is going to make all my efforts moot in that situation. But we can deal with that. We can always go back into Bulgaria and take down more people. There we go. Take our army, drop them in. Noticing that the second army is bigger than the forces I'm using back home in Italy. That should be okay. We could use more troops out in the world than back at home. Another Egyptian tomb has been discovered, which is fantastic. We got quite a lot of research points out of that. So steam turbines should be coming along nicely. And I'm just going to finish up the war, obviously, with Macron here, because it's going to be a quick war, and we want to make sure we get at least a little bit of tea secured in the world. So I know you wanted to leave. We must negotiate with the war leader. Well, who the hell's the war leader? You propose peace. You're not going to accept that, are you? So Kutch and Afghanistan. Afghanistan's way up there and Kutch is over here. You guys could have made this easier. And I doubt very much that Sind will give us military access. Nope. Will Kalat give us military access so we can get in? They will. Beautiful. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave that for the next episode because this turned into a bit more of a war than I thought it would. Of course, if I just looked up at the diplomacy tab, I would have seen that, but I didn't. So, you know, I discover things now. Anyway, thumbs up if you have enjoyed this episode. Leave your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, jokes, musings, what have you below. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.